All right. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Sudoku with Tsvetii. I'm your host as always, Tsvetii. Hope you're doing well. And if not, hopefully I can make your day just a little bit better. We do have another medium Sudoku in store for you today. And it has been a fun week. But I suppose, specifically be talking about our first day off of this weekend. And I kind of talked about it a little bit, where I had been getting a little bit stressed out, I would say, getting a little bit stressed out with work this past week, whether it be part of my own fault or someone else's. I'm not going to throw any blame, or certainly not one to just be spouting out stuff for no reason, because perspective is always a beautiful reflection of time. And I want to bring that up because we can, in the heat of the moment, be blinded to what was and not necessarily what is. We can get our emotions wound up, and our emotions in a tizzy is a old school word for that. Get ourselves in a little tizzy over things that at the end of the day don't really matter. And I suppose that's something I want to talk to you all about today, is putting your emotions in perspective. You know, a lot of things are not the end of the world, obviously. A lot of small things feel extraordinarily important in the moment. They feel like the end of the world at the time. They feel very heavy on the heart and mind. But what I want to say from that, or what I am trying to say, or trying to dance around, is no feelings are permanent. And I know you've probably heard this a million times before, but no feelings are permanent. And it is a beautiful reason why that no feelings are permanent. And as we've kind of discussed throughout the history of Sudoku with Tsvetii, sometimes all we can do in life is look towards tomorrow, for better or worse. Sometimes we can get so focused on what is in front of us that we can ignore what is happening in our peripheral, or in our periphery is the proper word. And what I want you to take from this episode is to not let your is to not let your emotions be the primary determinant of your happiness. Do not let a spur of the moment emotion change your life forever. And as I kind of talked about probably a couple weeks ago at this point, the best thing you can do in this crazy little world of ours right now, the best thing you can do right now is think. And it's so easy to just kind of become automated. Almost. I certainly have that, or I certainly have had that experience, whether it's in work or in life, where you kind of get in a groove almost. You kind of just get in a habit. I mean, those can be 9s too. I'll just go ahead and mark them down. Why not? Well, that would be a 1 and 9. But again, and it is always good to have those habits and to be, let's say, working on the same things and making progress in what you want to make progress in your life. But that does not come without a time for reflection or a time of thought, a time or a need to process your life and what is going on around you. And I think I'm mostly talking to myself tonight. In both a good way and bad way. That could be a 9 as well, so I'll go ahead and mark that down. Let's go to our 5s. You know, 5 has to be up there. 5 could be any of these. How about a 6? Yeah, we do have our 6s. Not necessarily in a row. Well, I mean, yeah, 5, 6, and 7 are blocked here and here. Yeah, that has to all be 5, 6, or 7, which means that this will be our 8. Quick little deduction right there. Not too shabby, not too shabby. I like how we're missing 6, 7, 8, and 9 in this row. I always love that. I always love those little small things that either if they happen at work or just, you know, throughout the day, just like these small little things. Like when I'm playing Sudoku and I'm missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row, or in a certain column or a certain column or row. I always get a little excited. And those little things kind of excite me. Like how in this one I'm missing 6, 7, 8, 9. The 4 I'm missing are in a row. I've always been, I wouldn't say fascinated, but I've certainly been entertained by it. We got over here. We know 8 has to be one of these two. Anything else? Knowing if 4 and 9 have to be over there. These could technically be 4. If we're being honest with ourselves. They can't be 5. Nor can they, well, they can't be a 6. They could be a 7 and they can be a 9. So that'd be 4, 7, 9. And then this would be a 1, 4, 6, and 9. Again, not the most progress made at all, but certainly worth a go at it, so to speak. Yeah. Okay. Deep breath, take a step back. Let's start from 9 again. I mean, we know 9 has to be over here. We know 9 is up here. 9 could be there or there, so we can't really deduce anything off that just yet. We know 9 could be there. We can't deduce that just yet. Switching back to our 8, we know 8 is over here in the middle. We know 8 is one of these as well as one of these. Actually, we know 8 is just going to be over here. About our 7s. 7s are kind of the same situation. Yeah, we know. So we know 7 and 8 essentially both have to be over here. No, because they could be down here as well. I'm kind of just speaking out of turn. But and we know 6 has to be over here. Okay, so 6 cannot be over here. I mean, 6 is up here. And 6 could still be one of these 3. Or has to be one of those 3. But that limited down that to just 8 and 9. Which is very nice. Actually, that's actually very helpful. So we know that cannot be a 9. We know that has to be a 1 or a 4. 1 could technically be either of these. Again, not the most amount of progress per se, but certainly we feel like we got something to not lay our hat on, but okay. Was that on our 6s over here? Yeah. Okay, what about our 5s? I know they have historically gave me a difficult time, but they haven't given me a difficult time today just yet. 2 has to be there or there. No, 4 has to be over here. Which means that has to be our 1. There we go. There we go. And just like that, we were able to solve a little bit of our puzzle. Took us a good little minute, but we have a breath of fresh air. I'm sitting up straight. I am feeling a little bit better. Sitting a little bit taller. Feeling tremendously more confident than I was a mere few minutes ago. And that's how it works, man. That is absolutely how it works. Where you'll just kind of be, stuck for a while, and then all of a sudden, as it typically does, where a lot of things happen at once. A lot of things happen at once. We do have our 1s or 2s are looking in the same way. So let us move on to our 4s, of which we have 6 of them. We know they're gonna have to be one of those. So let's see if 5s will do us any justice the remainder of this puzzle, and the answer will be no. Okay, what's the 8s? 8 has to be one of these 2. 8 has to be one of these 2. And 8 has to be one of these 2. This has to be a 4 or 5. If we're missing 4, 5, 6, 8, it'll be our 8. which will leave us 4, 5. Yes, that'll be 4 or 5 because it can't be a 6. We do have, oops. There we go. Took us a second. We got there. We got there. Thank you for watching. Consider liking and or subscribing. I'll catch you again next time. Take care. Stay safe. Goodbye.